So I'm going to introduce Bob Quint, who's going to talk a little bit about Recovery Act and our activity in the Recovery Act and some of the successes we've had in carrying out that program. Bob?
Thank you, Dan. While he's loading this, I'm going to, most of the presentations you have heard or will hear are talking about what we're doing, what we are planning on doing in the near future. I'm going to kind of take us back a little bit, not as far as Don Glazier did when he and Lewis and Clark invented the Huntley Project, but I'm going to take you back to 2009, and the ARA was passed. Reclamation at that time got about $950 million allocated to us to implement a number of projects, 177 different projects. We right now are, believe it or not, just doing the final touches on the last 2 or 3 projects, and most of this is finished. So what I want to very quickly do is just kind of walk through a quick summary of where we were. Now what ARA did for us, it basically that 950, see 946, that's how much we actually invested. What that did for us is it's basically doubled our annual appropriation budget. So we were able to fund a lot of projects that we kind of had out there that we just didn't have enough money to spend on, and quite honestly bailed us out on a lot of things. Some of our rural water projects, for example, we were able to build treatment plants and pumping stations and things that typically we would only be able to put $2 or $5 million a year towards. So we were able to get those done. We had a situation out at Red Bluff where the court was going to shut down our operations out there by a date certain if we didn't install some fish screens. It allowed us to complete those activities. A number of other aging infrastructure, urbanized canals, some of the mussel stuff. I'll try to highlight a few of the projects that may be familiar to you here on the front range. So we got the $946 million, what it ended up being, divided into 6 categories, and I'm going to kind of give you a really quick summary of what we did in those 6 categories. Remind you that the projects were to be shovel ready. Job creation was one of the priorities. Stop grinning there, Jim. And create lasting value. So, and I think you'll see when you see some of these projects and the summaries that we created and were able to accomplish most of those objectives. Let me see if we can do that. So the first category is meeting future water supply needs. Nearly half of our money went towards this. Title 16 projects, rural water projects, etc. One of the things we were able to do is complete the Animas La Plata project in southwest Colorado. It was kind of the final thing. You'll see me referring to this a little later. One of the things we did here was actually construct an operations and maintenance facility that is LEED certified. So we were able to accomplish some of those dual objectives for those projects. Next area is improving infrastructure reliability. Don did a good job describing our path forward, but we do have some of the projects that were on that list we were able to do. A lot of our dam safety programs, Folsom Dam, for example, we're able to do some work out there to help that work. We were able to inspect our urbanized canals, which was one of the mandated parts of the legislation. At least $10 million was to be put towards that. So we were able to get inspections done through ARA to get that done. One of the local projects is up at Flatiron. We were able to coat the penstocks there, which had been a project that just kept going year to year. We'll get at that next year. We were able to get that done. Next area is environmental ecosystem restoration. As I mentioned earlier, Red Bluff was one of the projects there. We have several other fish screens and those kinds of activities that really helped us meet some of our environmental commitments and mitigation on our projects. Also, one of the key things, think back, we talked earlier about the drought conditions we're in now. A lot of the projects that we did in 2010, 2011, etc., were water conservation. This was a matching thing with challenge grants, so we're able to leverage some of this ARA money with some of the local sponsors and basically put some water conservation projects, which we have a long list of that we just don't have enough money, but a lot of good projects. We're able to accomplish a bunch of these projects. And I mentioned the green buildings. We were able to, with Recovery Act money, build a green building for our employees down in Boulder City. And you see the statistics there. We actually have a 270 kilowatt solar farm as part of this. When it doesn't fully supply the the power for the building, when there's excess capacity, we put that on the grid and actually are able to supplement some of the electricity needs in the Boulder City area. Also, as I mentioned, down in Durango, we have a LEED certified building that we were able to build with ARA funds that helps them with their maintenance activities. And the last area that I mentioned, we had about $40 million that we put towards drought projects. This was anything from wells to pipelines to pumps and things, mainly out in California. We haven't gone back and really rethought about it, but I think it's a safe bet to say without these projects, the situation out there would even be more dire than it is right now. So good for us, good. Wished we'd had maybe done more. So, and I mentioned throughout all this, this was for all of our stakeholders, the water districts, the tribes, municipalities. These benefited a wide range of beneficiaries. So we are, as I mentioned, just finishing up the Recovery Act activities now. We've developed a summary report that we hope to have posted on our website in the next few weeks. For the people that are here, as a special bonus, we're going to give you a folder with that information, so you'll have that to take home with you. It'll give a lot more detail about some of the things I talked about here. But anyway, very happy that we were able to move a lot of these projects forward, and I think a very successful program in the ARA. So with that, I will turn it over to the next speaker.